Okay, well, let's go ahead and get started. It's noon. So we'll start with the bell there and everything, and I'm gonna share our screen so we can do the pledge here, and it'll be coming up here in just a second. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, that went too fast, but this is the mission statement for Kiwanis, and I wanted to make this a part of our ritual too. So let's go ahead and everybody say this together. Kiwanis is a global organization of volunteers dedicated to moving the world one child community at a time through service to others. So I think we're going to start doing that all the time too. So I appreciate it. Let's see, invocation, Caleb.
Yep, I got it.
That, help us with that today.
Yep. Okay, let's pray. Lord Jesus Christ, our God, you've said, apart from me, you can do nothing. In faith, we embrace your words, Lord, and treat your goodness. Help us to carry out the work of our mission and be with the children and families we endeavor to help. Defend them against the assaults of the enemy and grant them peace. We thank you for these earthly gifts as you bless the 5 loaves and 2 fish to feed the multitudes. Also bless these gifts and increase them for the hungry in our world. To you we give glory, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Amen.
Your assessment doesn't mean that value is...
Gary, you need to mute.
Yeah, I'm going to mute everybody because I'm getting
low. But call that
everybody else in here. Let's see.
That's free. Won't cost you anything. Tip them over and give you an hour.
Sounds like it's coming from Gloria.
Yeah, let's see
If you
here.
want to come to Carlsville, we're going to probably have to sell that.
Where do you go to mute everybody? Participants?
Yes. Manage participants.
And then you can borrow the money from the house to buy down.
There we go. Okay, they can, let's see. Everybody can unmute themselves if they need to, but we'll go ahead and get going here. Thanks, Caleb, for the invocation. Guests, I don't see any guests today except our speaker. And so we'll go ahead there. Any announcements? I could not, I didn't have anything to come up with there. Anybody? Okay. Let's talk about some good news. As I put out on an email, we will be having 1 meeting a month in person in November and December. It'll be the first Thursday of the month. We'll be at the Crawfordsville Country Club. So that'll be very, very good. We'll at least have some fellowship by getting together with everybody. So that'll be the first Thursday of the month in both November and December. And we will put that out regularly. So everybody make sure they come to the right place. Let's see. We must have knocked Shar out and she's coming back in. So there she is. We lost you for a minute, Shar. You're on mute.
I lost my sound, so I just reconnected.
Oh, I probably muted. Oh, okay. Okay. So let's go on to Happy Bucks. Being no other announcements. Q1 is for the Eliminate Project. How many of you know what the Eliminate Project is? Who knows? Okay, Brian, Diane, bunch don't know. Through the Eliminate Project, Kiwanis International and UNICEF joined forces to eliminate maternal and neonatal tetanus, a deadly disease that steals the lives of nearly 31,000 innocent babies and a significant number of women each year. In 2011, there were 59 countries where tetanus still posed a considerable risk for women giving birth. Today, through your help and the help of Kiwanis and UNICEF all over the place, the number of countries is down to 12. So they're still working on those final 12 countries. So that's why we contribute to the Eliminate project. So who's happy? I'll throw in $5 for Eliminate, and who else? Brian, thank you.
Yeah,
Everybody else?
I'll put in 5.
Okay, thank you, thank you. I tried to get, okay, thanks, everybody. We appreciate it. That's, you know, this goes a long way towards eliminating that that issue. So we really appreciate it.
Sharon, we can bring it to, we can give Sharon the money when we meet on the first Thursday of each month.
Yeah, what I'm doing too is just basically knowing what we'll do is I'll send the check to Sharon and just for that, you know, for our participation, we'll send a check to Sharon each month for doing that. So I appreciate it, Sharon. We give you more to do, see. Okay, so I appreciate the happy bucks. This day in history, let's see, 2018, Sears files for bankruptcy. Boy, we all remember that, don't you? I remember being a kid and going to the Sears store at 63rd and Western in Chicago. That was a big place you always went to for Christmas shopping, or you go downtown to the Sears store to see all the windows at Christmas. Interestingly enough, with what's going on in Congress today, on this day in 1991, Justice Clarence Thomas was confirmed to the U.S. Supreme Court by a vote of 52 to 48. So I thought that was interesting. 1990, Mikhail Gorbachev won the Nobel Peace Prize. And in 1951, and I'm sure nobody here remembers this, but I Love Lucy debuted on CBS television. In 1943, Penny Marshall, actress and director, was born. 1924, Lee Iacocca was born. So it's got some important people there. October 15th, today is celebrated also as National Grouch Day. So I don't know which one of you are going to accept that, but today's National Grouch Day to honor the world's most famous grouch. And who is that?
Groucho Marx.
No.
Oscar the Grouch.
There you go, Karen. Good job. Good job. Oscar the Grouch from Sesame Street.
That was gonna be my first guess, but I thought, no, they wouldn't use him. Dang
Well,
it.
he's the most famous, so great job.
Thanks.
Anything else from anybody before we go ahead with our speaker? Okay, I was hoping Mac was going to be here to introduce our speaker, but Clyde Morgan, and Clyde, when we do this, you'll have to unmute yourself on there. But Clyde is the director of track and field and cross country and the assistant director of the Malcolm X Institute of Wabash College. So it's gonna be real interesting to hear about Clyde and what he's doing and what the teams are doing, and a little bit about the Malcolm X Institute. I didn't even realize it was there. So being the newbie here in Crawfordsville, it's great to hear about. So thank you very much, Clyde. You're on.
Good afternoon, everyone. First off, thanks for having me. This is, I think, my 4th Zoom call of the day, and I have 3 more after. This has been strange for me because I am a people's person. This has been difficult as far as just our administrative work, and then recruiting has been a little strange for us. But I will say this, my team's a little bit different than a lot of teams on our campus and across the nation, where I have 2 days where we talk about life and adversity. And on Mondays during the season, we have a team meeting right before practice, and we talk about performances and and track and academics and those things. And then Wednesday, we have these life conversations for the first half of practice. And we always talk about, and I started coaching right after college in 2000. And we always talk about life and expectations, and then hardship and adversity. Because one of my goals is I don't want these guys, when they do graduate and they go on in their careers to be and to be husbands and fathers and those things, to be terrified when the first time something bad happens in their lives. So we discuss that stuff and we talk about it. And so when this first happened, our culture was tested. I have a school record of 84 guys on a track team. We've never had that many guys, and so our culture was tested because it was different. We had just won our indoor championship, and we were set. We were all set at nationals, and we had a couple guys qualified down in North Carolina, and then we had finished practicing, and we was back at the hotel about to shower to go to the banquet, and the competition was day one was starting the next day. And then I got one of the first calls being on the NCAA committee that they were canceling the national championships from all levels because of the pandemic, all divisions. And so we had to send out the email, and then we went down in the lobby just to console athletes. You know, you had young ladies and guys crying. You know, some of these kids were seniors, but seniors first time qualifiers. You know, there's particularly a young lady I remember that it came back from an injury and had a season left, and she worked hard and she was number one in the country, and then so her season was canceled. And so then that was one ordeal, but then when we got the news that they were canceling outdoor season, it rattled a lot of teams across the country. And but our team, we stayed strong. We communicated every week, and I made sure we had an alumni speaker through Zoom, talking to the team once a week, just encouraging them. And they were, our guys were doing the same.
May have froze up, Coach.
They canceled cross country, so our guys have just been training and getting ready for track and field season. And the track team has practiced, but we've had to do it in groups because we are such a big group. We can't put them all together. So that's been different. You can't put everyone in the weight room. But, you know, I always talk to these guys about adjusting to situations. I truly believe one of the biggest obstacles has been, you know, recruiting, because of a place like Wabash, you have to get these young men on campus, and they have to be able to spend time with professors, faculty, and staff, and coaches, and sit down with them and meet students. So just the phone calls and the text messages and the Zoom calls, that's been rough. And we have had some visits, but they're not the same. They can only go in so many buildings. So that's been an adjustment. But you know, the way we're dealing with it, you know, everyone in the country is going through it. You know, so it's one of the things we got to deal with. But what I'm proud to say, my guys are in great spirits. They're working hard. I always remind them, you know, stay ready so we don't have to get ready. You know, so when NCAA and our conference says that everything's a go, you know, we're not panicking. We're just excited and ready to go. Especially with the, you know, we got a beautiful new outdoor track and football stadium that should be totally finished any day now. So we're really excited about getting to compete on that. I guess at this point, I'll take any questions that you guys may have for me.
Coach, can you tell us a little bit about the Malcolm X Institute at Wabash and what all they do and what's going on there?
Yeah, the Malcolm X Institute has been around since 1970, and it started out in an old house right next to Trippett Hall, and now it's in a beautiful building in the middle of campus where there's classrooms in there. There's 3 staff members, my wife being one of them. There's our director is Dean Jones, Stephen Jones. There's probably 6 to 8 classes that's held in that building. There's a barbershop library in there, a computer lab named after Mrs. Jasmine Robinson, who passed this past summer. And it has been a staple of diversity and culture. And we have a lot of programming that we've probably done more programming this year than we've done in a long time because of what's going on in the country. And it's been awesome to watch those young men lead with other guys that don't look like them. Just recently, we had a privilege walk, a campus-wide privilege walk on the mall, sponsored by those young men, and it went great. And we broke up in groups and had some life conversations. So we have done obviously work on campus, but also off campus with Purdue, IU, DePaul, Eastern Illinois. We've been over to UIndy and done some work there. So it's been going well. I've had a little bit of experience with that before I got here. I was the assistant director and then the director of the multicultural affairs department at Teal College in Pittsburgh before I got to Wabash. So I had a full cart. I was doing that. I was the offensive coordinator, and then I was the head men's women's track coach. So I was a little busy, but I enjoyed it because I learned a lot.
So how long have you been at Wabash?
Since 2008, I took over for Rob Johnson.
Who else has a question? Anybody?
Yeah, I've got one. Clyde, is there any feeling from the conference that there might be a spring season?
Yeah, we think we'll get spring in. It'll be different, but it'll be a little easier for, baseball and track, where you can spread out in those things. But I'm not sold on indoor season. They're telling us that, but I don't believe them because I just come on now. I've been around a while. I just don't know how we're gonna put that many, even without fans, put that many people in an indoor facility and think that's okay. So I don't think we're going to have indoor, which I'll be honest with you. And we've won indoor and outdoor championship the last couple of years. And I was the coach in the conference and who voted just to stop playing games and not have it this year. Because if you got 10 teams in a conference and you got men's and women's teams, and just say the average team has 40 young men and 40 young women, that's a lot of people in the building with officials. So then I get an example of, I said, well, what if, I said, just think if Wabash just competed against DePaul. We told them just to bring up their men. And then we even narrowed it down to, okay, we can only enter 2 per event. That's still a lot of people inside, with your officials. So, I just don't think we're gonna have indoor, but I think outdoor in the spring sports should be okay.
Are you guys still able to work out on a regular basis and
Yeah.
stay in training?
Yeah, it was interesting, which I expected. We had some guys come back out of shape, and we took care of that. But I'll be honest, I was more worried about them as far as their mental state. Because this has been hard on all of us, so I didn't say a word. My staff, we didn't say a word about whoever came back out of shape or picked up a couple pounds, because we knew we can get that off and get them right. We were more or less worried about checking on them mentally, so we were allowed to have a total from NCAA, a total of 144 practices. So we took 9 of them and we went Monday, Wednesday, and Friday for 3 weeks, and we got with the team, and we actually went down to Mud Hollow and used the baseball field in Mud Hollow so we could spread out. We broke up in groups, and so we got some good work in, but a lot of it wasn't intense. A lot of it was just relief work to kind of get back going a little bit, and we spent a lot of time talking to them about the mental parts of the game, of the sport, and just making sure their mindset was okay. Because the bottom line is, I've been blessed to coach national champions and all Americans and all conference guys and conference champions. But if your mindset's not right, you're not going to get it done. you know, so it's been good so far. They've been able to get some training, and right now they're on their own until November 2nd. We'll get back together. We just wrote up and planned our training and posted on the board. So hopefully we'll be able to get on a track, outdoor track, for a while and stay out there as long as possible before we have to go inside. Because once we go inside, we're gonna really have to be creative for practice, because you know, when you bring that many guys inside, we're gonna have to break up and have different practice times during the day. And just being careful with this pandemic. Great question.
Anybody else? Okay, I guess not. Well, Coach, thank you so much for being here and telling us a little bit about this. I guess I do have one other question. How do you see a service club like Kiwanis working with your men and working together to help each other out?
Oh, anything we could do together for the kids. You know, particularly I have a soft spot for, you know, the 5th grade through 7th grade group, because that group, they're very impressionable at that age. You know, I think they can go either way. You know, so when we've done our track and field days and we've gone and helped with taking the team, that's the age group we try to work with. So anything we can do with those groups will be great. We've tried something with a Malcolm X Center, where we try to do a little work with them through Zoom. That didn't work out well, because some of these kids are doing it. They're having a lot of time with this in school already. So then with after school program, you know, most of the time you see half the screen, or they're not paying attention. They're just over it. You know, so you know, once all this is clear, I would love to see us do something with that age group, you know, in person.
Great. Well, maybe we can do something to work together towards this. I agree. I think that age group and younger is something we need to work on, because you're right. You've got to start there. These kids, as they get into middle school and high school, you know, that's when the parents throw out the old encyclopedias and everything, because those kids know everything. You know, so if we can get with them before that time, I agree. I think we both can be successful in that. So we'll try to work on something and give you a call, and maybe we can do something there.
Absolutely, we'll be all for that.
Any other questions? Okay, Coach. Well, thank you very, very much for visiting with us today and telling us a little bit about what your teams are doing and about the Malcolm X Institute. We really appreciate that, and I'd personally love to take a tour there sometime and see what goes on there. So I've never had that opportunity. My wife and I have only been here for a few years, but would love to do that.
Absolutely. When things clear up, we love to do that. Absolutely.
Great, thank you. Just in closing, I don't know if anybody else has anything else here. Okay, in closing, the quote of the day: loneliness is easily avoided by always serving others. By Andrew Kelly. Thank you all very, very much. We finished real quick, and I appreciate all your time. Thanks. Bye now.
Thanks for having me.
Hi,
Thank you.
guys.
All right, everybody.
Thank you.
Have a good week.